What's up, guys? Nick here from Budget Decks, and today I'm coming to you with a $29.55 budget train deck. That's right, we finally built it. I don't even think anyone's ever suggested this deck to me. I don't know why I'm celebrating that. But I've been wanting to build this deck for probably the better part of 2 years, and it's a really fun deck. Now, about a year ago, this deck was really slow. It didn't have a lot of support, and it wasn't exactly fast. Now, with one of the newer sets about 6 months ago, it did come out with new train support. Only problem with that train support is it's very expensive. Now, thankfully, they did do some reprints and they bumped some rarities, like on Derricane here, they bumped the rarity. But that, in turn, also made a lot of the spells, traps, and the monsters cheaper. Well, the old support, I should say, made all the old support cheaper because of all those reprints. So, because of that, I'm bringing you this profile kind of in celebration of that, albeit, 3 to 6 months late. I don't even remember when that set came out, but it did come out. And I'm aware that it's, it is expensive to run like competitive trains. But again, this is budget decks, not competitive decks. So we're going to still give this profile out. $29.55. You can definitely make it about $16 cheaper, and I will explain why when we get there. But for now, let us start with the extra deck. First and foremost, the boss monster of the deck, 3 copies of Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. That name is a mouthful. 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense, and detach 1 material, burn your opponent for 2,000 damage. And that 3,000 attack is really good. I do focus my deck around this card, even though it is a very underwhelming boss card and it's rare. It helps you go into OTKs, especially with that burn effect. It can still attack, and plus one of your trains, Derricane, has spot removal when it's detached. So it's pretty good to go into. That said, let's get into the next one. 1 copy of number 81, Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Super Dora. Super Dora basically is effect protection against targeting, but albeit it's only targeting protection, which isn't really that good. In my opinion, it's actually kind of garbage. But I still run them. 3,200 attack, 4,000 defense. I'm mostly running them for that attack power because, again, I'm running this as a train OTK deck, or attempting to run it like a train OTK deck. Granted, it's more like 3-turn kill, but because it takes time to get there because this deck's pretty slow. But, we're still going for it, okay? Then we're going to run 1 copy of Heavy Armored Train Iron Wolf. Detachable material, attack your opponent for 2,200 directly. Really great card. I really like it. I would actually bump this card up to 2 if I could, but, didn't have 50 cents to throw around in this deck profile. Then next, we're going to run 1 copy of... Wait, which one is this? Sorry. Of number 35, Ravenous Tarantula. This card is coming in at about... I think it comes in at around... Oh, no, that was a bad focus. Bad camera. Bad focus. This card comes in at around about $1.50, I believe. He's a little expensive, which I know is a bit of a turnoff for some people. It is for me, but he's pretty good. He gains attack equal to the amount of ranks on the field, and with a deck in Master Rules 3, this card is pretty overpowered, which is the nice thing about this deck. This deck can be Master Rules 3, which is the old format, Pendulum format, as some call it, but this deck can also run as Link format. So I'm putting this in there just because, oh my god, I forgot it. Pendulum format, okay? In case you wanted to use it for the old rules. I think it's pretty good. And then with that comes number 84, Pain Gainer. He gains defense based off of the different ranks. This one gains attack based off of difference of life points. There we go. That's what I meant. So overall, pretty good extra deck here for the XYZs. And then last but not least, 1 copy of Gigant X. Wow, I am really burpy today. I am so sorry. This deck is just so good, it makes me have gas. I guess that's just a thing. Let me drink some water real quick. Dihydrogen oxide. It's good shit. Gigant X, I use them for a searching power, detach 1, search for 1. Pretty good deal. Next is the Link monsters. I run 2 copies of Under Clock Taker, which is one of my personal favorite Link monsters in the entirety of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because it targets a monster you control and one your opponent controls, and it decreases the amount of attack that card your opponent controls has. Plus, he is linked to, which is nice. He has that down arrow and the side arrow, so he extends your field in a really nice way. I usually combo him off with Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. We're just going to call him Yellow Boy. We combine Yellow Boy with this, and overall, it helps go into those OTKs, which are really nice. And then I do run 1 copy of Proxy Dragon just for that side arrow extension, just in case. There were moments in some online duels where I actually needed an extender like Proxy Dragon where it would have worked perfectly because, again, very generic because it's 2 monsters. Plus, off of one of the train cards, you can use this effect to destroy that train card to get a search. We'll get there, though. We'll get there. 1 copy of Pentastag, give your boy some piercing damage. And then 1 copy of Cleavefort Genius just for those 2 down arrows, which are, again, fantastic. So that's kind of the extra deck. It is a machine deck, so there's a lot of things that happen. But overall, it's a really great deck, in my opinion. I think this is a really good extra deck. It's a really strong extra deck. There's 12 cards in the extra deck, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 cards in the extra deck. Lucky 13. But overall, it's a really good extra deck, and I have a lot of fun with it. Anyway, let's get into the main deck, which is the whole point of this profile. And yeah, let's jump into it. Try not to... Oh my god, I caught you. I fucking caught you. You were looking at her boobs, weren't you? Yes, you were. I saw you looking at her boobs, and I called you out. What the fuck did I tell you? Respect women, damn it. You don't... Just because she's wearing a low-cut top and she has the bazonkas there doesn't mean you can fucking look, all right? So we're going to just have to cover that up with 3 copies of Freight Train Derricane, all right? Like, Jesus, Dark Magician Girl does not appreciate you being a little bitch, okay? I'm sorry, a perverted little bitch. That's what I meant to say. 3 copies of Derricane. He's the heart and soul of the deck. He makes the deck work really well. Or she, or it. You know, realistically, what is a train's gender? We don't know. Maybe a train is its own gender. This train, its effect is when a train is normal or special summoned to the field, you can special summon your boy. Okay? Pretty good deal. Really good for link plays. And he's actually pretty generic, because it's actually just an earth machine type. I just read that through the camera right now. So he's pretty generic. You might actually be able to splash him into some other machine decks, just so that way you can get some link plays out of it. Next up is going to be 3 copies of one of my favorite named cards, Snowplow Hustle Russell. Really great card. When your opponent attacks you directly, you can then special summon this card from your hand as long as you have a spell or trap on the field, which you most likely will at all times. And then when it is special summon, you destroy your all spell and traps on your side of the field and burn your opponent for 200. So it has some burn effect there. Plus it has an awesome name, Hustle Russell. I love it when they do that alliteration. It's fucking great. Only thing that disappoints me is it doesn't have a penguin effect, because notice it's in the snow. And, you know, the artwork could probably have like a penguin soldier in there if it really wanted to, but it doesn't. So, oh well. But that said, really good card. It's actually probably my favorite train card. It's pretty good. Now my least favorite train card, Night Express Knights. Now, there is a better version of him out there. I don't even remember its name, but my gripe with him is, 1, it's a common. You know, I do like my rarities, but again, this is budget, so we run mostly commons. He will have 0 attack when you put him on the field, because his only effect is to special summon it from your hand without tributing, and its original attack becomes 0. And it can't even be special summoned from the deck, so you can't even use the field spell to summon him out. It kind of sucks. I know. Trust me, I know. It's honestly a very underwhelming card. Shitty cards like this is why they then make really overpowered cards for an archetype to then make you buy sets that are really similar to this card with similar art, different rarity, and 3 times better effect. But, you know, we're doing budget again, and we have to put the boy in there. So that kind of rounds out the level 10 trains. There's only 9 of them. Oh my god, you looked at her boobs again. How could you? You're so thirsty. Jesus. Fucking thirsty. God damn. Next is going to be 4 copies. No, shit. 3 copies. Can't run 4 copies of anything. That's not something you can do. God fucking damn it. 3 copies of Flying Pegasus Stampede. Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede. He's your revival monster. You normal summon him to your side of the field. Normal or special, sorry. To your side of the field, special summon at a level 10. So any of those level 10s, these are all targets for them. I actually like to bring back Night Express tonight because he's usually my discard material for the field spell. And when he is revived, he does get that 3,000 attack, which is fucking gorgeous. He also changes his own level to level 10 if you target that monster that you just summoned out, which allows you to go into your Gustav Max or your Superdora, which is really good. Oh, no, we're not going to do that yet. We're still on our low-level boys. Come on, Nick. We have organization. We can do this. Next is 3 copies of your Searcher, which is Ruffian Railcar. He is your Searcher, but he's also your very underwhelming Searcher. When he's normal summoned to your opponent's side of the field, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent once per turn, which is nice. And when he is sent to the grave, you can then search out 1 level 10 Earth Machine monster from your deck to your hand. but you can only use the effect once per turn. So that's why we do run Foolish Burial in this deck, and he is good discard material for the field spell. And then also of the low level, Construction Train Signal Red. My main gripe with this card is it's a level 3 and not a level 4, so you can't really go into any of your XYZs, but he's good link material, so we'll let him live. He's actually more protection than anything. He's like a weaker version of Hustle Rustle. When your opponent attacks you directly, you can special summon this boy from your hand. He doesn't get destroyed by that battle. And, you know, he's just extra protection. He's a condom, okay? He protects you against getting pregnant. It's great. And then last but not least, 2 copies of Lionhearted Locomotive. A really fun name for a card. 2400 attack, 2100 defense. When it attacks, it has its own attack, so it's pretty shit. So I like to put it on there at turn 1, maybe, to, like, protect myself. And it's a level 4, so it works with Ruffy and Railcar to, you know, help get that search. But I run only 2 of him because he is a bit of a brick. I use him more for special summoning purposes from the deck. But again, we'll get there. Speaking of special summoning purposes, Revolving Switchyard. We're going to run 3 copies. It is the field spell of the deck, and it is actually a really good field spell. I remember when I was, like, I think Shining Victories was the pack that Trains were originally released in. I remember pulling this card a lot in Shining Victories, and I can tell you right now, I fucking hated getting this card all the time. But it's a damn good field spell. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card from your hand, search out a train, or you can, when you normal summon a train monster, any train monster, special summon a train from your deck, except Night Express Knight, obviously. So because it's such a good field spell, and it's common, which kind of sucks, but, you know, it's cheap as shit. It's like 5 cents. Because it is a field spell, we are going to run 2 copies of Terraforming to search out that field spell, which is extremely important. You can also throw in a copy of Metaverse to help you get out there, but we all know Terraforming adds it to your hand, so pretty good deal. But yeah, that field spell is kind of also the heart and soul, so you want Derricane in that field spell. It's a good deal. Next is something the deck was severely lacking, but thankfully with the new support, we did get 3 copies of Iron Draw. Iron Draw is a fantastic card, just because when you have 2 machine cards on the field, which you normally will, you'll usually have one of your XYZs and maybe the Cleefort monster, or you'll have maybe 2 machine monsters. You can only have 2 machine monsters on the field to activate this card, but you draw 2, it's a +1. It's a great card. You just cannot special summon any more than 1 more time after this card is activated. Plus, it's a secret rare, and it looks sexy. I really like the artwork on this card. I think it's genuinely fantastic. It's one of my favorite cards in the deck, actually. Granted, I never see it. I don't really see my spell cards very often in this deck for some reason. And it's not for lack of spell cards, it's just, I just don't see them very often. Next is going to be 3 copies of Special Schedule. This is your Monster Reborn for the deck. I run 3 copies of it. Granted, I should probably be running just 1 or maybe 2 of it, but I'm running it because I'm trying to keep this as pure as I can for trains. I didn't throw Monster Reborn in. I didn't throw Call of the Haunted in. I'm trying to stay pretty pure. Special Schedule, it summons a train monster with 3,000 or more attack, which is great. And if it is sent from the field to the graveyard off of what's-his-name's effect, you know, you can search a monster from your graveyard, add it to your hand. So it has a good search effect. It has synergy with Hustle Rustle. It has synergy with Night Express Knight. So, I mean, there's some plays there. But realistically, I would probably run just 2 of it instead of 3. Maybe 1. Like, honestly, it's pretty underwhelming. I would actually prefer to have Monster Reborn and a copy of Call of the Haunted rather than that. Anyway, then we're going to run 3 copies of Train Connection. This is going to help you go into OTKs. Train Connection, banish 2 level 10 monsters from your graveyard, level 10 machine monsters from your graveyard, double your target's attack, and inflict piercing battle damage, which is fucking great. I love me piercing. Piercing is wonderful. Something else to help kind of, you know, bolster it, I was able to get 12,000 attack thanks to limiter removal and to go for game, which was fantastic. 1 copy of Foolish Burial to send away Ruffy and Railcar, and then 1 copy of free spot removal, Dark Hole. So obviously send away Ruffy and Railcar, destroy all monsters on the field, including your own boys, and double all machine card monsters' attacks, but destroy them at the end phase. So this is, you only go into this if you want to win right away, or if you can win that way. So you really got to be smart with how you use your deck. Then onto the traps. 2 copies of Vanilla Mirror Force, just really good to, you know, stun your opponent a little bit. And then 2 copies of Drowning Mirror Force. You know, I really like Drowning Mirror Force. It used to be like $3. Now it's really cheap. So now I like to run... This is like my favorite Mirror Force protection engine. This, so it destroys stuff. This, because it shuffles stuff back into the deck. And I run them at 2 instead of just one of these at 3. And adding a second copy of Limit Rule, just because I like that consistency a little bit better. I like having one of these in my hand at all times. Having 4 of these almost guarantees every single time that I'm going to have one of these traps in my hand. I have yet to actually play a duel where I don't have one of these in my hand. The number 4 is beautiful. It's not my favorite number. 3 is actually my favorite number, but 4 is a close second. So all in all, this is a really good deck. I really think if you guys are interested in building a deck, and a deck that you can invest in, a deck that you could build up to be really fucking good, I think this is the deck for you. Trains did just get a huge boost with all of the recent support they got. And all in all, it's a fantastic deck. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'll admit, I lost to Cameron's Medolces the other night at the bar. That's right, we duel at a bar. We're alcoholics. We can't help it. I lost to his Medolces just because, you know, they're really good. But it had a really good matchup against the Budget Buster Bladers that we profiled on the channel a few weeks ago. And it had a really good interaction with some Aztecs a bit ago as well. So this deck, definitely not competitive how I have it set up right now. But if you're willing to spend like another $100 on a deck, and you want a deck that could be rogue and really shake some things up at the local circuit, I think this is a deck you could invest in. Again, just use this as a template deck more so than an actual deck to duel with. It does have a lot of problems in it. Like I said, there's some consistency issues with running special schedule at 3 and only having 3 level 10s that, honestly, their summoning cards can be pretty difficult. So, other than some consistency issues, this is a really great deck. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're just starting to learn Link format. I think it's a really good learning deck. That said, overall price was $29.55. At time of purchase which was about a week and a half ago, around April 14th, April 13th, somewhere around there. So yeah, tell me what you guys think of the deck profile. If you have any suggestions, I swear to God, if any of you put Platinum Gadget, I know Platinum Gadget is good. He's just a little bit too expensive for this exact set. Also, if you wanted to save, I did forget to mention, I am so sorry. Also, if you wanted to save yourself about, 6 times 3 is what, 18? If you wanted to save yourself about $18, you're going to want to omit 3 copies. Fuck, where is it? I can't find my 3rd copy of it. There it is. You're going to want to omit 3 copies of this. This card alone cost me $6 a piece. So 6, 12, 18. Okay, that's $18. The rest of the fucking deck is cheaper than this one card at 3. Fuck Yu-Gi-Oh! Prices sometimes. Sorry, I'm a little mad now, just thinking about it. You do not need this card for this deck to work. You can literally get rid of this card, throw in 3 Call of the Haunteds, and this deck will be just fucking fine. Like, I'm being real with you right now. Like, there's a lot of alternatives to this. You do not need this card to help yourself out. I'm telling you, it's just revival. You can throw in Call of the Haunted, throw in a copy of Monster Reborn. You are going to have a sub $20 train deck that's actually not too bad. All right? You don't need this. I just run it because it's a train deck. It helps me stay pure. I like having a lot of monsters, and I had the money for it. But realistically, you could omit this, save yourself $18, make the deck cheaper. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this deck profile. I'm sorry that it's going on so long. I know my deck profiles are going on a little bit longer. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to make these profile videos a little bit shorter. If you want me to speed through them a little bit more, that's totally cool. I already know a lot of you just kind of click through the videos with each card, because I know that's what I do on other deck profiles. But that said, let me know if you want these to be shorter. Let me know if you want them to be longer. Also, if you have any deck profile recommendations, feel free to email me at yugibudgetdecks@gmail.com. Email me your budget deck. Email me the price of the deck that it cost you. If you could like screenshot the price on TCG Player, that would be great. And yeah, I'll see if I can make them buy them. If I enjoy them, if I enjoy the deck, that has to be the thing. I will profile it if I enjoy it. I have built a lot of decks in the last 2 weeks that I do not like. Crawlers was one. Subterrors was another one. Like, there's 2 decks I didn't like that were under $30, but I just didn't like them. They weren't fun. I just have to like the decks. Anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and thank you guys for watching, and y'all know the rest. Stay sexy, you motherfuckers. Toodles!